What's happening, guys? It's your buddy Grizz, and this game was brought to my attention over the weekend and it shows some real potential. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of gameplay here, as well as give you my thoughts on the game so far. So what the heck am I watching, you might ask? This is, ready for it? Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex First Assault Online. Wow. What a terrible title. It's way too long and it's not catchy at all, so my first suggestion to the developers is change the name. For the purposes of this video, I will be referring to it as Ghost in the Shell First Assault. Much better, right guys? This is a new effort from the wonderful team at Nexon, the same people who brought you such free-to-play gems as Combat Arms and Dirty Bomb, among others for sure, and this game will eventually be free-to-play as well, as I understand it. However, right now, you can only get into the action with early access, so if you want to play Ghost in the Shell First Assault right now, you do have to pay for it. But it's quite inexpensive, and they were running a deal on it over the weekend, which is why I picked it up so easily. But as I check Steam right now at the time of this recording, the promotion is done, and you know, unfortunately the deal is done as well by the time you're watching this. But check out the price for early access anyway, because this game is really cool and I'm having a ton of fun with it at the moment. At first glance, I know it kind of looks like Call of Duty, I realize that. I think it's the white X hit marker thingies, very Call of Duty-esque. But it's not a carbon copy, or it's not even really close by any means. It does kind of feel like COD a little bit, but I guess it feels more like COD, Dirty Bomb, and Counter-Strike all had a big dirty three-way, and the resulting spawn was set in the world of a popular anime series. That's how I see this game right now anyway. My overall opinion on the game is still a bit mixed though. Bear in mind this game is still in development still, so nothing about this game is set in stone yet. So to give you guys an idea of how it is, I'm just gonna go over the good and the bad points that I have about the game at the moment. So let's start with the good, shall we? Number one good thing about this game, and actually it's probably one of the reasons why I decided to get it in the first place, is that it's based on Ghost in the Shell. If you've never heard of it before, Ghost in the Shell is a popular anime series, and I think there are also at least 2 movies as well, about an elite police squad known as District 9. It's set in future Japan, obviously, and this team is extra special because they have cybernetically enhanced bodies, or in the case of District 9's leader, or the captain I guess, Motoko Kusanagi, she has a full-on cybernetic body, and all that remains of her as a human being is her consciousness, which has been transferred into her cybernetic body, hence the title Ghost in the Shell, because you know, she's a ghost who has like no real body, and she's living inside a computer organism. Pretty neato, huh? So that was the first reason why I was drawn to this game initially, was simply because it's based on Ghost in the Shell, and it's a first-person shooter. By the way, if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, or if you've never seen Ghost in the Shell, I highly recommend checking it out, because it is also awesome. You could start with the first movie too, just to get a feel for it. But if you're really feeling up to it, you should watch the Standalone Complex series in its entirety, because it is supremely awesome. I haven't seen it in a really long time. I watched it back when I was in high school, and you may have to deal with some subtitles, but you know, if you want the real anime experience, you should watch the Standalone Complex series. Enough about anime though, let's talk gameplay here. The gameplay is, let's call it, a little rough around the edges, which can kind of be expected from a game that's still in development. As I mentioned before, this game feels kind of like a mix between COD, Dirty Bomb, and a dash of Counter-Strike thrown in. So let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. The obvious comparison here is with Call of Duty. The game looks a bit like COD, the mechanics feel similar, the maps are all small, and the gunplay, you know, feels and looks similar. Plus there's that white hit marker they have that looks exactly like COD's. All that's missing is that little noise that they have. Also, the maps kind of remind me of COD maps, wherein they're small and compact and make for a lot of action, But what is cool about this game is that the team sizes are 8v8, I think. So every match is kind of like a ground war game. Lots of people around to shoot, and it's never boring. Another thing I really like about this game is that, much like in Dirty Bomb, each character has their own unique ability or piece of equipment available to them. But unlike Dirty Bomb, it's actually much easier to unlock new characters, so don't worry about, don't worry too much about who you're picking at the start, because you'll get to unlock new people frequently enough. But what I think is the absolute coolest thing about these abilities is that you can actually share certain ones with your teammates. If your character has an ability that is able to be shared, like Motoko's Thermoptic Camo, when you reach your tier 2 ability in a match and you use it, anyone who's close by to you can just press E and take advantage of it. So you can sort of equip your entire team with Thermoptic Camo if you want, which to me is a really cool feature. Now let's talk about some of the bad here. The main sore spot on this game is the hit detection. It's a bit spotty at times, which could be simply because the game is not optimized yet, like whatsoever. I've seen some players zipping around the map super fast or going through objects, just some weird stuff, man, some weird stuff. And I think it's largely due to bad connections to the server, or maybe even in that the game itself hasn't had a proper, scrub on the whole networking side. I tried to stream this game and it was just no bueno. I was lagging something fierce to the point where it was almost unplayable, but I had some people in there watching who really wanted to see some gameplay, so I pressed on. But yeah, the connection side and the hit detection in the game really needs some major work, and that is my main gripe about the game at the moment. The other thing I'm really not too impressed with is that there is no way to join a friend's game or invite a friend into a group so that you can search for a game together. Now I know that will most likely be added, at least I hope it will. It's pretty essential, guys, later on as the development continues. But for right now, it really sucks, and the only surefire way to get into a friend's game is to join one that someone has already created in the custom games menu, or start a new custom game yourself. Now, that would be all well and dandy if it didn't take forever to get enough people to join a custom game. Everyone is just using the quick match and the random game mode setting and just jumping into random lobbies right now, so it makes it really difficult to actually play this game with a friend. I know we were able to get into a couple of the same games, or like a couple of the same games a couple of times just by luck of the draw, but that is really unreliable, and they definitely need to add a feature where you can create a lobby for friends to join with you, and then you can all search for a game together. I'm sure it will come though. I'm sure of it. Overall though, the game is super fun to play when you're not streaming it and you have your entire connection dedicated to this game. It's pretty responsive for a free-to-play game, and the graphics are also really great, especially for a free-to-play. I forgot to mention that. Graphics, good. Anyway, this game comes highly recommended by me, guys. I definitely think it's worth buying the early access. But just so you know, it will eventually be free to play if you'd rather just wait it out. Buying the early access does help the developers though, and it helps them finish the game faster, so I would say consider it at least. But whether you're a fan of team-based shooters or just Ghost in the Shell itself, I think there is a lot of potential in this game. I really can't wait to ride this beta wave, so to speak. The hit detection issues, as frustrating as they are sometimes, it still doesn't take away from the fact that the game is a lot of fun. There are 3 different game modes available to play right now. You've got your straight up TDM, you've got Demolition, which is actually more or less like Search and Destroy, except for everybody has a bomb on them. And finally Terminal Conquest, which is my favorite. Terminal Conquest is sort of like Rush, but not really at the same time. Both sides play for a neutral point, and as the team captures those points, it pushes the other team back to other capture points. And it's really fun. I've had some epic games on it already where we just kept pushing back and forth with the other team. Like, we'd go take a terminal, they'd push back and retake it, then we'd retake it from them, and so on and so forth. It was crazy. Lots of fun. Anyway guys, if you haven't checked the game out yet, I highly recommend it. Like I said, even though it's got some issues, which is to be expected though at this point, I'd still say it's a ton of fun. I know I've said that a bunch, but it's true. I just really want to hammer out that point that, you know, it's really good times. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button, friend. Subscribe to brother friend. And as always, if you like what you saw, if you'd like to show the video a little love, you can do so by leaving a like on your way out. Stay safe out there, my friends, and I will see you all in the near future.